Hi everyone, welcome to Stories with Miss Sam. Our theme for this week is butterflies. And that is because it's the time of year for butterflies to start migrating. They're hatching from their cocoons, getting their wings, and flying down south. So we got a few stories here that talk about that, and then a little song where we might learn the sign in American Sign Language for butterfly. So we will start with our first book, Houdini the Amazing Caterpillar. You will do amazing and magical things, Houdini, whispered Houdini's mother when he was just a tiny egg nestled upon a bright green leaf. There he is. Soon Houdini grew into a caterpillar with bold stripes, a big smile, and a hearty appetite. And when he suddenly found himself in a new place with many curious faces peering at him, Houdini knew it was finally his moment to do amazing and magical things. Come close! Watch as I make this tasty leaf vanish. His audience loved him. Ta-da! And now I will crawl across this high wire stick without falling. Ta-da! His audience made drawings of him. Perhaps I look small to you, bigger than your little finger, no bigger than your little finger. But step closer. Watch me grow before your very eyes. Ta-da! His audience brought him fresh leaves so he could do his vanishing act all over again. Ooh, ah, they cried. Houdini smiled his big smile and bowed in appreciation. How he loved being in the spotlight. But gradually, Houdini noticed his audience was becoming interested in other acts. When a turtle arrived, the crowd patiently waited for it to emerge from its shell. Some performance, thought Houdini with a yawn. Then a spider showed up. Houdini couldn't understand what the big deal was, but the audience was as curious as ever. Houdini decided it was time to spice up his performance to make them even more amazing. Instead of just stepping out of his skin, Houdini rolled out. He added a daring backflip to his high wire stick routine. He performed his vanishing leaf act with astonishing speed. Every now and then, a small audience gathered, but there were no longer the crowds. For the first time, Houdini felt neither amazing nor magical. One night, under the light of the full moon, Houdini munched and thought. And thought and munched. What could he do to win back his audience? Looking around, he had to admit the turtle's new act showed courage. The classroom plant was a sight to behold. And even though Houdini could spot the thread, the spider's latest trick was quite successful. Then he noticed something else on the wall. Before him were colorful drawings. They were bright and bold, and they made Houdini smile. Suddenly, he knew just what his next act would be. It would be his most daring act ever. It would take much concentration and skill, but Houdini felt ready. His audience would not want to miss it. Houdini broke free of his skin one last time. Then he climbed to the very center of the high wire stick and hung suspended in the air, all that night. And all the next day, Houdini held his pose. His audience discovered him. They crowded around him and made new drawings of him. There he is. For almost 2 weeks, Houdini held his pose. without food, without water, without taking a break, and his audience watched in anticipation. Then one morning, Houdini opened his eyes. Many curious faces were peering at him. Houdini smiled his big smile, happy to be in the spotlight again. Gather close, this is the moment I will break free. Houdini twisted. He squirmed. Ta-da! Look. Ooh, ah. He heard as his new wings lifted him higher and higher. Houdini bowed his head in appreciation. He too was amazed at the magic inside him. Look, they're butterflies. The end. So that's our story about Houdini, and that is how a caterpillar becomes a butterfly. They eat and they eat and they eat. I once had a caterpillar on my parsley plant, and it ate my whole parsley, but it was pretty cute, so I let it go. All right, so we are on to our next story about butterflies, and this is about the little butterfly that could. Hey, have you seen a group of migrating butterflies? They went that way. Woo-hoo, I'm so close. Yeah, only 200 more miles. 200 miles? How am I supposed to travel that far? You fly. Can I take a plane? No. A hot air balloon? No. A blimp? No. Then I'll never make it. Oh, life was so much simpler as a caterpillar. I easily built a chrysalis, patiently waited to become a butterfly, ta-da, and then began my journey with friends to find flowers. But then, things got cloudy. When I emerged, I was lost and alone. You'll get there 1 mile at a time, but what if I get lost again? Or caught in a storm? What if a snake tries to eat me, or a lizard, or a bird, or a dragonfly, or a frog, or a spider? Why does everyone think I'm so delicious? We all get scared. Even you? You are the biggest creature in the ocean. But the ocean is bigger. Sometimes I get butterflies in my stomach too. Whoosh! What are you doing? I'll just stay in here with the other butterflies. This is way more spacious than my chrysalis. Anything to eat other than krill? No? I'll just order in. Hello? A bouquet of flowers, please. Extra nectar. The occasion, I'm hungry. My address? A whale. Click. Hello? Hello? Guess they didn't want to deliver to a whale stomach. Wait, can I just live in your stomach forever? No. How about a 1-year lease? No! You have to keep trying. Right. Keep trying. 200 miles, no problem. Getting closer. I can smell the flowers. How far did I fly? 2 feet. 2 feet? That's it? All I smell is failure. Don't give up. Keep trying. Right. Keep trying. Nothing can stop me. Except the wind. Oh. Splat. Right back where I started. I'll never get there. You're just not there yet. Wow. Believe you can. Okay. Believe you can do it. You were born to fly. I was born to cry. The only thing you have to fear is everything. If at first you don't succeed, stop trying. No, if at first you don't succeed, fly, fly again. All right, he's got his helmet on. Go find your way. I got this. There he goes. Stay on track. It's at mile 25. Wind at my back. Mile 50. Don't get eaten. Mile 100. Keep trying. Mile 125. Keep flying. Mile 150. Keep trying. 200 miles later. I did it! You found your way! You know, there's nothing I can't do when I believe in myself. I could fly 1,000,000 more miles. That's great! Now eat up before we go dormant. Dormant. What now? You know, stay still all winter. Right. Stay still all winter. No problem. How long is winter? All right. That is it for our second book about butterflies, and as you'll see, that's starting to show us how they migrate, and they got a long way to fly and go. So for today, our butterfly themed song is just called Flutter, Flutter, Butterfly, and we use the sign language for butterfly, which is where you take both your hands like this with your thumbs touching, and you move your hands like you're flapping wings, and it looks like a butterfly. So the lyrics go like this. It goes kind of to the theme of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, so you might know it. So, flutter, flutter, butterfly, floating in the autumn sky, floating by for all to see, floating by so merrily. Flutter, flutter, butterfly, floating in the autumn sky. All right, let's do it one more time. Flutter, flutter, butterfly, floating in the autumn sky, floating by for all to see, floating by so merrily. Flutter, flutter, butterfly, floating in the autumn sky. Yay! All right, good job. I hope you followed along, and I hope you liked our song. So we have one more book, and this one's kind of more about how we learned about butterflies and all the people that studied and watched and followed them throughout the time. So it's called Winged Wonders, Solving the Monarch Migration Mystery, because we're talking about monarch butterflies today, like our little puppet pal here. All right. For centuries, up and down North America, every year brought a mystery. Monarch butterflies swooped in for a spell, like clockwork, from somewhere beyond, then disappeared as curiously as they came. Where do they go? People pondered from southern Canada, through the middle of the United States, and all the way to central Mexico. In 1976, the world finally learned the answer with a groundbreaking discovery: a one-of-a-kind insect journey, a remote roosting place, a small speck on the map, where millions of monarchs are drawn like magnets each winter. The Great Monarch Migration, the news stories called it. So, who solved this age-old mystery? Who tracked these winged wanderers from one end of the continent to the other? Who found their secret roosting place, a marvel of nature? Was it Fred, the Canadian scientist, who spent 30 years studying the monarch mystery from his university lab, who drove through the United States with Nora, his research partner wife, like detectives trying to track the cagey creature's migration from Canada southward, who tagged monarchs' fragile wings, first with paint that faded, then with labels that plopped to the ground when wet, and finally with price tags that stuck. Was it Nora, master organizer of the monarch material that they collected, who placed ads in newspapers near and far seeking ordinary people to help by tagging monarch wings in their hometown? Who wrote newsletters and kept in touch with all those volunteers? Who logged and mapped every tidbit of information they sent into the lab? Was it those dozens, then hundreds, then thousands of science teachers, backyard gardeners, and other curious souls who answered Nora's ads and became citizen scientists, who gently caught, tagged, and released the delicate, dancing insects to help solve the migration mystery? There they all are. Was it Ken, the American adventurer, who spotted Nora's ad in a Mexico City newspaper while visiting there, who called her in Canada and agreed to follow the monarchs through Mexico, where he didn't speak the language, who bumped along winding roads with his newlywed wife, Catalina, for nearly 2 years trying to track the butterfly's twisting trail? Was it the villagers and farmers of central Mexico who directed the couple to look higher and higher up into the thin air of the volcanic mountains in their oyamel tree groves, who for generations welcomed the monarchs as soaring spirits during autumn Dia de los Muertos celebrations, who held the whispered whereabouts of their winter roosting place? Was it Catalina, born and raised in Mexico, who introduced Ken to her beloved monarchs, who spoke with the locals in her Spanish dialect to guide their research, who kept 40 notebooks of meticulous monarch data? 40, that's a lot. Who first crunched through early morning snow high in the Sierra Madre Mountains into an oyamel grove and exclaimed, I see them, up here. They're up in the trees. Was it Jim, the American science teacher, who with his students attached teeny tiny tags to tiny wings, who caught and tagged the very monarch in a Minnesota goldenrod field that Fred later found among millions in a Mexican oyamel grove? Who gave Fred the proof he needed, that one teeny tag, to announce the discovery of the great monarch migration? Yes. The answer is yes. All of them, the scientists, the citizen scientists, the regular folks along the way, played a part in this discovery. Each person, in a small way or large, helped answer that century-old question. Where do they go? And now we know. Each year, millions of monarchs fly the same path, generation after generation, from southern Canada through the United States to roost for the winter in central Mexico's mountains. Then they journey north again, feasting on milkweed plants all along the way. However, today there's a new burning monarch question to be answered. How will they survive? Monarchs' numbers have been going down since the 1976 discovery, from at least 1 billion down to millions, a handful now to each 100 then. So chemical sprays have destroyed their milkweed plants, logging and farming threaten their oyamel groves, pollution disrupts the air and weather for their flights. So who can make a difference for the monarchs today? Who can preserve their landing spots and airstreams? Who can keep them alive? The answer is actually no mystery at all. We can. All right, so that's it for today. We learned a lot about monarch butterflies. I hope you enjoyed our stories and all the new facts that we talked about. And I will see you next time for Stories with Miss Sam. Bye.